This clip is sponsored by Med Travelers. If you're an SLP interested in travel therapy, visit medtravelers.com to get started. It was always, person first language. Like you would always say child with autism, student with autism, adult with autism. And now there's been this shift to identity first language. And I just love your opinion. What do you think about that? And how do you use the terms?
My great question, because people are definitely very confused about this. My
Hmm.
preference is identity first because that is what I've heard from the autistic community. So
Yeah.
listening to them, what they tell me, what they've told everybody, especially if you
Hmm.
follow like autistic people on social media, which is great, they'll tell me, like your identity, like my autism is a part of me. It's not something that is ever going to go away. Um, so I personally, like, I am autistic. I am an autistic individual. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's where what it comes down to is when we say person with autism or a person with disability, it makes it seem like we're afraid to say that they're autistic or that there's a negative connotation behind it when there's not. So I prefer the identity first because that's what I've been told. However, I know that there are still autistic people or people with autism that prefer the person first language. So I think when you come, like, my default is identity first, but I think when you come into contact with somebody specifically, you might want to ask, like, what do you prefer? How do you like to be referred to? So, and I think it, like, that is the same, I think about my identity with my race. So people have a preference between being called like Black or African American. I know for a long time we've made a shift to Black because every Black person that you see is not a descendant of Africa. So it
Hmm.
just, the African American or are not even
Yeah.
American. So
Yeah.
people,
They don't fall under either. So,
a
yeah.
lot of them don't fall into either of those
Yeah.
categories,
It's
right?
true. Yes.
So we've seen that same shift with race of I prefer to be called Black. I don't prefer to be called African American. But there are some
Hmm.
people who do, who still consider it to be politically correct to be referred to as African American. So another situation where you might default to one, but if you come into contact with
Hmm.
somebody, you might want to ask.